Ronin is a bit like piloting a phase-shifting panther, carrying a sword in its mouth and shooting people with a shotgun that also happens to be its tail. You'll be rewarded for making use of good old-fashioned hit-and-run tactics, you'll be rewarded for targeting weak and or damaged titans, and you'll be rewarded for engaging titans who are actively engaging or who are actively engaged by your team. Of course, to maximize your effect in these guerrilla warfare type scenarios, you're going to need to have a better understanding of Ronin's abilities. Let's start with defense. Ronin is a lightweight and squishy titan, but one fortunate enough to have a block ability in the form of sword block. It may not block 100% of incoming damage, but when used properly, it can mitigate the incredible damage potential of real heavy hitters like Tone's lock-on missiles, Northstar's railgun, and even Legion's power shot. It can protect you when disengaging enemies in CQC, or perhaps while you look to close the gap and put yourself in prime positioning for some serious lead wall and melee damage. The Arcwave is one of Ronin's most powerful abilities and easily my favorite. It's a versatile tool that can be blended into your tactics to maximize damage and to maximize your chance of success. It's as if you dipped your sword in liquid electricity and started painting the ground with it. In layman's terms, you throw out a line of lightning, it damages and slows anything that touches it. Now a good pilot will use Arcwave to slow enemies, they'll do some damage with it, and then they'll close in combo with the lead wall and sword attacks to increase their damage output. A great pilot, however, will see that Arcwave is incredibly strong when utilized as a range attack. It's going to let you poke and destroy targets at a distance and even shut down defensive abilities such as Tone's particle wall. As for the phase shift, well, this is sort of the final piece of the puzzle that is Ronin's survivability via high mobility. It's a dash that phases Ronin into another dimension. But again, a great pilot will see it's capable of so much more. Something as simple as adding a third dash to your standard dash charges to increase your travel distance, which could in turn be used to assist you in escaping or even as you look to rush the enemy and attack. You could phase shift through a crowded junction of friendly or enemy titans. Maybe you're looking to get behind that Tone, push them out of their cover, and then hijack their particle wall, use it as your own defense while you blast them with the lead wall. You could phase shift to dodge a nuclear ejection. You could even leave an enemy behind mid-rodeo as you escape to Dimension 3 for a nice cup of tea. The phase shift is such an adaptable and fun ability. It's like an ollie in skateboarding. It can be the basis for so many tricks, so many tactics, both offensive and defensive. And as a great Ronin pilot, you're going to continue to find ways to utilize phase shift and surprise both yourself and the enemy. Let's talk Sword Core. The Sword Core is pure melee burst damage. It amps the power of Ronin's sword and lets you wreak havoc on any who choose to stand in your way. That's not completely true. That's sort of the cool Hollywood, hype man way of saying it. In reality, the Sword Core requires a smart mind and an even smarter setup to make the most of its damage without sending yourself to hell along the way. The biggest challenge here is deciding when to actually activate the core. I like to take into account a few factors. So let's kind of just break them down here. What's the current health state of my target or multiple targets in the area? What chassis or titan am I looking to engage? What is my current health state? Am I in a doom state? So here's how we would use these questions to resolve a few scenarios. Let's say I'm dealing with a flank on one target and I see that they are at half to full health. I'll probably activate my core and go to town regardless of the chassis of that titan. A solid flank, especially on a titan that has their focus elsewhere, even if they're Legion at full health, is going to go pretty well if I make use of my sword core. Now if that target is below 50% health, I'll probably save my core and look to damage them to doom state and then perform an execution. If I find that I myself am in a doom state and unable to avoid an engagement, I'll activate my core looking to do as much damage on my way out and also to make use of my improved defense on the sword block ability during sword core. So there you have it. Those are just a few scenarios and tactics, but they make up the basis for most engagements with Ronin. You can expand on them with your own knowledge and experience, and you'll be maximizing the potential of the sword core in no time. So let's move on. Let's talk about my personal kit for Ronin. I'm running Counter Ready. This is going to give you an additional electric smoke screen. I've recently made this a part of my strategy, and I've been seeing great success with it. Most players in public get way too aggressive with Ronin. Once I move in and engage in CQC, they tend to try and melee. They hang around for way too long. So I'll dance around them, I'll drop a smoke screen to start to layer in some extra damage while I back out, fire my lead wall into the smoke, and, you know, pretty much just go to town on them. It's like you're some sort of twisted assassin god punishing those who seek to destroy you. But really the big thing here is just how powerful electric smoke can be. Either as an offensive tool where you dash in and deploy it to actually directly damage a target, or where you're looking to pop it and then escape, you know, use it as a defensive tool to run away from a target that is doing a lot of damage to you. Either way, it's just a really great tool, so why not have a second one? That was my thought process, and it's done a lot for me. We're using that same mentality with my next selection here, Thunderstorm. This is going to give us one additional arc wave charge. It's going to give us some extra crowd control capabilities, and it's going to basically increase our sheep herding potential. Arc wave is just super powerful. It does damage, it slows targets. Again, why not have a second one? When you have two of them, you can rapidly deploy them, you can pin enemies, you can capture enemies in tight areas, you can increase the amount of damage that you do to multiple targets. It just seems like a no-brainer to me. I'd rather have that extra arc wave over any of the other kits available in the second slot. It's done really well for me. Last and definitely not least, we're running Dome Shield, because you should never operate your Titan without protection. So let's talk Ronin pro tips. It's vital that you're conscious and wise with your dash charges. You're going to want to always have a dash charge stored when you enter combat so that you're prepared to make a quick exit if things go south. I know it's tempting to just dash all over the map, make use of that incredible speed to cover as much ground as possible, and sometimes that's necessary. But more often than not, it's smart and precision activation of your dash charges that will keep you alive longer and in the end make you a much more worthy adversary. And that's really what you want here, to be a better Ronin. Now, something that a lot of people don't know is that Sword Core actually disables your ability to execute Doom State Titans. Consider the current health of your target before activating your Sword Core. We just talked about this, remember guys? In many instances, a well-placed standard melee, which can lead to the activation of an execution, is going to be more useful than popping your core and just mashing the trigger. Remember, you can't take damage while in the execution animation. This is going to allow you to eliminate your opponent while becoming invulnerable to attacks from his teammates. In a lot of situations, you're engaging one target with Ronin. Next thing you know, 3 more people show up. Now it's 1v4. You can at least get that kill before the other Titans lay waste to you. If you pop your core, they're going to be able to do damage to you. You're not invulnerable just because you have your core active. So executions can often be your saving grace when it comes to eliminating one more target before you die. Ronin is the type of Titan that it's very easy to become aggressive with. I do it all the time, but patience and awareness are everything when it comes to Ronin. You want to keep yourself in check. Remember that you're a soft and squishy Titan when you consider your next engagement. Always keep track of how many Titans are on the field, both friend and foe, because you're going to want to calculate that into every tactical decision you make. How many friendly Titans do I have? How many do they have? What are my chances of success when I'm the only Titan left? Oh wait, there's plenty of other friendly Titans on the field. Why am I not supporting them? That's probably the biggest thing here with Ronin. I mentioned this at the start of this guide. You're going to want to look to support friendly Titans in combat rather than going it alone if at all possible. A distracted Titan makes for a much better target than one that is focused solely on you. Not to mention, supporting teammates is always a good move, and that should be a given. Let's talk Battle Buddy. The cool thing about Ronin is that just about everybody works well as Ronin's Battle Buddy. The backdoor assassin playstyle of Ronin means he can run with just about every Titan on the roster and see increased success from working as a team, working in pairs, whatever it may be. It should be noted, though, that tankier Titans with a bit more aggro and presence on the battlefield, Titans like Tone and Legion, are supreme, optimal choices that will let Ronin do what he does best, some serious backstabbing, while the enemy focuses on dealing with the immense firepower and defense capabilities of those two Titans. That goes a long way, and I've seen some incredible matches when my team is Tone and Legion, and they're just slaying people, and I'm just in the back dancing around like, poke, poke, you're dead, you're dead. Just like I'm running around with this really sharp blade, like stabbing people in the neck. That's how it feels as a Ronin when there's a Tone and a Legion on the battlefield on your team. They are seriously good Titans to have as teammates when you're playing Ronin. It's as simple as that. So in closing here, Ronin is a lot like Northstar. He's an easy to learn chassis, but one that is difficult to master. And you'll find that the real fun factor only comes into play once you've developed a proper understanding of Ronin's strengths and weaknesses, and then begun to look at the battlefield and the combat scenarios set before you in a way that only a Ronin pilot can. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully, you walked away from this guide a better Ronin pilot. I am still working on a new closer, so I will see you in the next one.